All right, what is up,
Hey,
everyone? We're going to be talking about Big Brother 18. We have our awesome guest, Kim, from Season 1 of Sequester. How you doing, Kim?
Great. How are you tonight, Chris?
We have Michael. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We have Michael from Season 1 as well. You made it fourth place, correct?
we'll say that.
Yes?
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about this episode of Big Brother 18. A lot of stuff's been going on.
You didn't bring
So
up
let's talk about Davon leaving.
All right.
I
What
was so
happened?
you didn't bring up my placement. God.
That's because she won.
Runner up. We all. She technically should have won, but we'll say that.
I won the game, but I got second place.
Oh.
You won
Whatever.
in my heart, Kim.
In the
So let's talk
hearts.
about this episode. So what does everyone think about Day leaving the votes? It was a six to
That.
two vote.
What do you think, Ken?
I think
Yeah,
that it
let's start
was
with
a great move within the house. It's, to be honest with you, this week she hasn't brought much. As a viewer, she hasn't brought much to the table. She's either been crying, sitting by herself, or reading the Bible. She wasn't playing the game like you play the game. She didn't do anything to save herself, and I think she had a lot of compelling arguments that they should have kept her in the game, but ultimately it was probably a good move to get her out over Bridget. Although Bridget can win challenges, Day can't.
exactly. Bridget has won more challenges than Davon.
Exactly.
So I don't see how Davon has not won a single thing, and she's been on for 2 seasons straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Day leaves. Do you think Day telling James and Natalie to keep her safe was a smart idea?
Well, she had
And
no
do you think that
option,
maybe James?
really.
Well, she
I
had no
mean, she
options, yeah. But do you think
she had to
that?
save herself. I mean, she was clearly a target over Bridget, who's just flying under the radar. So, I mean, even if Davon just sat there and didn't say a single word the whole week, I mean, she still would have been a bigger target than Bridget. So, I mean, she had to do something. She at least tried, and it didn't work out.
See, and
Poor Davon.
I don't
Oh
think
boy.
Bridget's under the radar at all.
I don't either, but
I think
our
everybody's trying to
perception's
target
different
her.
than I I I mean, I know, but I still feel that I mean, if she wasn't, I feel like if they felt that, if the house guests felt that way, they would have voted her out over Davon. It's one thing that she's been on the block 2 straight weeks, but I mean, now we've got a wild card HOH and Victor who we don't know what's going to happen there. And as you know, things in these type of games can change from week to week. And I do understand that she hasn't been under the radar the last couple of weeks, but that could change very quickly because if Victor, for example, puts up, you know, two bigger wild card targets, then well, yeah, Bridget's right back to being under the radar.
Victor is going to do exactly what Paul and Polly tell him to do.
That's a good point. But
But mostly Paul though, because Paul's been more closer to Victor than Paulie has.
You know
right.
what? Victor's happy because he's a bro. That's all there is to it. He's got a peanut. He's a bro. The boys have accepted him. He's going to do what the boys want. That's all there is to it.
Well,
But
what about what they said to Victor
you know,
about him going out there on the double?
he was so dumb. If he honestly, if my opinion is, he might not have believed Day in saying that, because if I was being told by someone reliable that they're coming after me in a double, I sure as hell wouldn't have been winning the first challenge, the first HOH, because now he
Yeah.
cannot compete for the second HOH. He's going to piss off the people he puts on the block. He's going to piss off possibly a third one after the POV, and
Yeah.
he can't compete for HOH in the second one. Why did he win that? That was so dumb.
Do you think if Natalie would have won it, that Victor would have gone on the block?
Yeah. If Natalie had
That's
won,
why.
I think Victor would have gone on the block, but Victor is like one of the biggest challenge whores in that house. The odds on him winning POV would have been pretty darn good, especially if Natalie was HOH. I mean, that's one less he would have to worry about.
Mike, how do you feel about that?
I feel that if Natalie wins, then Victor would have gone on the block. I think that, challenge whores usually don't win the game, and
Is that the correct term, challenge whore?
well, that's
Yeah.
what Kim said, so I'm just using her terminology. But
Is that an orc thing, Kim?
It's a technical term used in the industry, challenge whores.
there you go. But I mean, I'm really interested to see what Victor does this week, but at the same time, as Kim said, it's probably not going to be as interesting as I'm making it out in my head. He'll probably just go along with the bro code, and bros will be bros, and that's what they want to do.
They're gonna have sword
All right.
fights in the HOH room. It's gonna be a boring week, whatever.
Yeah. But we have a double eviction coming up, so they're going to be preparing for that for sure. But let's talk about the care package, because the care package, do we think that, because I know you guys go on Jokers probably, it's most likely going to be James that gets it because he's top on Jokers. So do you think James having this power will will he actually use it for good?
Go ahead, Michael. Take the lead.
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, James, even from last year, James is just. I mean, even besides Jokers, casual viewers are very fond of James. I remember watching a episode last year, for example, with my dad, who that was probably the only episode of Big Brother he had ever watched in his life, and he was like, "I like that James guy. He's a nice one." But so yeah, like even the casual viewer likes James, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it definitely will. Oh my God. But yeah, so James will probably get the care package, and let's talk about.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If Victor thinking that he would go up if Natalie had won, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's Victor going to put up? What happens to that double vote if he puts up James and Natalie with Natalie being his target?
But the house is going to know that James, like, it's going to be known who gets it. It's not like a anonymous thing.
Right, but he
So
doesn't.
once he finds out, I think it's going to be soon though. I think it's before the nominations, or
No,
maybe after.
it's after the nominations, but before the POV. But anyway, if he has the double vote, that doesn't save him from being nominated. And if he's on the block being nominated, he is putting the nails in Natalie's coffin. Anyone that he thinks might vote him, obviously, that's whose votes you would take away.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? Which means that's taking the votes off of him, and Natalie would go. Or is he going to be, the knight in shining armor and think that he has the round trip ticket and, take one for the team?
I hope that's not the case.
Yeah,
Okay.
That would be pretty predictable.
He would not be the first guy in the Big Brother house to think with his penis instead of with his brain.
If I got in that house, I would never think with my penis. Rather.
Neither would I.
Yeah, like that's ridiculous. Like, I mean,
Well, look at Nicole.
Nicole,
I
yeah.
mean,
Nicole and
a
James are doing the same
boss,
thing they did in their
clearly.
season.
He's thinking with Corey's penis. Why wouldn't we think that James is thinking with his own?
I want to say about Corey, I'm surprised I'm saying this, but I actually think Corey's playing a pretty good game because
I
I
was about
think
to
he's
say the
using
same thing
Nicole to his
too.
advantage
Yep.
because I don't think he gives two shits about her, and
No.
that's like he is clearly using that to his advantage, and that's an example of being smart with your penis.
Well, according to Sucks, he's gay, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. Well, he
Hashtag not
well, I don't
Corey.
I feel like see like he in that Texas like down south area, people are just like really weird about that. Like if like because especially in like the culture he grew up in, like he's probably thinking that his bros back home think he's gay, and him being overly paranoid about it, ironically enough, is making him
Sleep with a girl.
vicorious. So
Vicorious.
yeah, so
Oh my
um
God, it's a new one for Urban Dictionary. What are you? I'm vicorious.
you know, it is what it is.
I love that. Oh,
So, okay, so let's talk about Michelle. Let's talk about Michelle in the HOH competition. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but she was vomiting, she was throwing up. Let's talk about Michelle. Let's talk about Zakiya. Their game or their gameplay at the moment. Are they in a good spot? Are they bad? Where do we think their heads are at?
All right, excuse me while I take a nap, because I could care less. That's pretty well. That's my point. Like, I mean, their games have just been so boring at this point. I have nothing to say. Like,
They're
Zakiya,
very low key though.
they're low key, but I don't think they've done enough to this point to win. But then again, I would have said that about Steve Moses last year too. So who knows?
but at least Steve would camera talk and talk through strategy. I have not heard Zakiya talk through strategy at all. Not with anybody. Not
No.
she's not pillow talking strategy with Polly. She wasn't talking strategy with Day other than I'm not going to vote you. Big fucking deal. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to cuss on your show?
No, you can curse. It
I
doesn't
have
matter.
virgin ears. Please don't do that.
Okay, Michael. Whatever. I mean, if nothing else, like when Polly was HOH, I expected some sort of strategy pillow talk, but because she's not a bro, you know, this is the whole bros before hoes thing. She's clingy and needy and codependent on whatever he does. Therefore, she has no strategy. She she's a vote with Polly. He's not going to get rid of her right away because she's a vote. As soon as she's disposable, which is so sad in this game that someone is disposable. But as far as Michelle, if they start comparing notes on her, the girl is in everybody's ear talking about everybody else all the time. If they
Yeah.
start comparing notes on her, bitch is gone. She is
Hmm.
gone. And that could happen. She could end up on the block against Natalie. Like if he goes Natalie James, James comes down, I could see it being Big Mish and Natalie on the block.
I think they would get rid of Natalie over Michelle.
I think they would too, but I think Michelle would be paranoid enough that she would freak out about it. She would be drama
And throw
on.
up?
She would be drama on the block. She would throw up. She would eat massive bowls of cereal and drink the milk and then puke the whole thing up.
Throw apples at people.
She would throw apples at people and cause welts. She would eat rotten watermelon, even though other people are going, ew, don't do that. She would still taste it anyway and eat it. She did that the other day. Did you see that? She cuts open the watermelon, and Natalie's like, ooh, that's rancid. That's gross. She smells it. She takes a bite of it. She spits it out and then eats it. Like it's like she's a baby bird. I was dying. It's like, girl, you know, between that and the bad turkey that Victor cooked the other day, it's like they are all going to be removed from the Big Brother house with food poisoning.
Let's just say if I was on
Yeah.
Big Brother, I probably wouldn't try to start a showmance with her. I
Big
would
me.
with Natalie though.
Natalie's
All
cute.
right. So
But you're a boob,
at this
guys.
point, so who
Maybe
do we think has a good who do we think has a good shot of winning and getting to the final two?
Paul.
Currently, right now. Yep.
I mean,
Paul and Natalie, I
I could
think.
say Paulie, but
He-
people are gonna realize he's a target once things play out a little more. Not right now, but um,
Injuries and everything.
if you wanted me to give you a top three, I'd say Paul, I'd say Corey, and I'd say this one might be a little bit of a surprise, but I'd say Bridget.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Corey. I could see Corey and Bridget.
Bridget slash Natalie. I think Natalie has an alright shot too. I don't. If we want to increase it to five, throw Natalie and James in there. But I think those are the only five that have any shot of winning whatsoever. And on
I,
a miracle,
Yep.
Polly.
I don't think Natalie's going to win the game at all, even if she gets to the finale. I mean, they'll like her, but
Right.
it would be kind of a Jordan season ending to a
Yeah.
one.
I agree with you there, but I'm saying that's a possibility still.
Yeah.
Like it might be like a meh, but I mean so far, I mean this season's kind of looking like meh, but at the same time, I do feel it has more potential to finish strong than even last year did. I think this has a lot of potential to finish strong, but so far it has not. It has been very underwhelming,
That's,
in my opinion.
I think so too. I think so too.
So, do we have anything else we want to say before we wrap this up? Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Yeah,
Uh,
bring Jace back for BB19.
who do we think
I actually meant Jace.
who do we think is
Oh, who do we think?
going to end up with the round trip?
Ooh,
James. Oh, wait, no, round trip. I think James is getting the care package for sure.
Nicole.
Round trip. Yep. What's it called?
You
She
know
would have
what?
to get out within. She'd have to get out either next week or the week after.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so intrigued though by this double eviction because
Yeah, I know. I love doubles.
it's always a question thing. Step up, step down, or true false, stuff like that. And I think Bridget could do really, really well on that. I think it's going to come down to Bridget and Polly. And if Bridget wins, she's going to shake up that house in 2.0 seconds flat. I don't know. And if it's Polly, it's going to be the bro code.
Yeah.
Bro.
And I have to hope to God that they don't name anything PP again.
I want to see
I didn't know that was a real thing.
whatever season they're doing soon. I need to see some stronger girls on BB because
Yeah.
it's been
They've
very
got to,
underwhelming.
seriously, they've got to stop casting for showmances. I feel like this season, the girls that were cast to be in showmances. Whether it was Nicole, hello, she's already got her track record.
Right.
I don't
Zakia announcing she wanted to marry someone in the house before the show. I remember that.
Yeah.
exactly.
Which is just absolutely sad.
Mish was going for Frank until Frank he's got a girlfriend. He was going for the safe bet with Bridget where they could be, they had the total friend zone flirtmance thing going, but nothing inappropriate. Whereas if he had paired up with Michelle, she might have been going for the whole showmance thing, and I'm sure girlfriend at home would not appreciate that at all. About the only one you know, I think Tiffany and Glenn were brought in to play the game, and I'm sad that we didn't get to see anything out of Glenn.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think everybody else, I think they paired everybody off. They just did. And, you know, Day not so much either. But they just did. And I don't feel like they're casting for the Big Brother game. They're casting for the Big Brother
Ratings
showmance to see what
and
comes out.
ratings.
Well, but it's not helping the ratings all that much. I don't even know if it's helping it at all. You know, Big Brother, what it's got going for it is that it has no competition in summer shows.
The problem is that a lot of the people watching the show aren't super fans, and when you look at the numbers on a broader spectrum, really probably like 80 to 90% of the people watching the show aren't, because there's like even though Big Brother 18 had a low number compared to past seasons, or 17, excuse me. I mean, A, that has to do with, well, less people are watching TV. I mean, I could just watch it online. And B, the people that are watching the show are usually A, casual viewers, or B, at this point, as you know, geared towards like an age group where that's what they want to see, and they're going to show what the majority demographic of people want to see, because, you know, I'm sure CBS has like people working for them that like show, like, you know, they do demos and like see like what the average viewer wants. So that's what they're going for, and unfortunately that usually, you know, delegates out the superfan who actually cares about the show.
Yeah, that's sad.
Well, you know what, and that is true, but that's why Big Brother can't make it in a fall or spring slot, and Survivor can.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's because the summer slots, they don't have the competition that Survivor has, and Survivor continuously stays in the top. That's why it sits in that Wednesday and doesn't leave there, because it pulls in the advertisers and the demographics, and the casual viewer is the real viewer because there's not feeds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Survivor can make it in a fall and spring slot. Big Brother would plummet. They would have to get their game shit together and get their casting together. And who knows, maybe that's what they're going to try and do with the with this fall thing being online. And if you remember when it was first announced, and I said, I'll bet you that they're doing it on CBS Access. And everyone's like, oh, no.
How does that work, though? Are they going to have episodes, or is it just going to be all live?
No, it's going to be.
How do you think the format's going to be?
Well, Deus announced today that Julie's going to be the host, so I'm sure they're going to have episodes or some format of it.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be 2 or 3 episodes a week, and the feeds, just like we're seeing right now. I think they'll run it just kind of how they're planning on doing it for Star Trek in the spring, in that they will have episodes, but they'll probably do a live eviction and maybe 1 episode a week plus feeds.
Yeah.
And they'll have to turn out and kill them to make those episodes. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they do that.
Yep, definitely. Anybody else want to say anything before we wrap this up? I think we covered pretty much the whole basis. That Day left. Victor's HOH. We don't know what he's doing.
Okay, I've got one more question. What do you think? Day's the first member of jury. Is she going to be a bitter juror?
Depending on who the final 2 is.
I cannot get in the girl's head, nor do I think I would want to try to.
Well, James outed his vote with the pre-recorded goodbye messages. He added his
Right.
vote.
What do you think?
She said she didn't know she didn't know which two of the three did not vote her. She figured it was Zakaya, um, Michelle, or James. And then they show the goodbye messages, and James was like, sorry, I had to go with the majority. Hello, okay, so now you know your two that voted for you to stay were Michelle and Z.
I think she already knew that, though. She knew that was Michelle and Zakia.
She didn't, when Julie originally asked her, she said James, Zakaya, or Michelle, but she didn't know
Oh, okay.
who were the three until James's thing, goodbye message.
Well, what do you think about Paul's goodbye message? Speaking of that, Paul lied in his goodbye message and said he didn't know which one.
That was such a bullshit. That was total jury management.
Yeah,
He was
He
going
knows
for
what he's
Dave's gonna get
doing.
pissed.
Jay's going to find out the second someone else is in the jury.
Yeah.
He just lost her vote with the bullshit message.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a suck up, and as a viewer, lost all respect for him in that. That plus, dear God, I hope they wash that HOH robe before they give it to the next person. Ugh. He lived
Oh
in
my
that.
God.
So gross. Bringing the hazmat team to take care of the HOH robe.
I guess
If I
that's
was
it,
on that type
guys.
of show, I would. I'm not the biggest neat freak, but I would be when I know that people were watching me on TV.
See, and I would I know I would get voted out early because I would cut a bitch for leaving food out. It's like, have you never watched this show? They've had ants for 18 seasons. Put away your fucking food. Pick your clothes up off the floor. You know,
Yeah,
seriously.
I'm a
Because,
very self-conscious person, so like even though I'm not a neat freak, I would be on that show just because I know so many people are watching me, and I know people flip out about that.
well, I mean, seriously, you're in there 24/7, probably combined time across the course of a day between changing batteries and being called to the ER. You might have an hour a day where you're obligated to something production-wise, which means you've got 23 hours. Take away 6 hours for sleep because, you know, well, make it 10 hours because they nap. So now you've got 13 hours to fill. That's all you've got to do. They can wash their hair. Drives me freaking up a wall. They can shower, they can wash their hair, they can style their hair. They can paint their nails, they can clean up their clothes. They can dress decently. Seriously, these people dress like they're, oh my God,
Hey,
they're like,
now, to be fair on that, they choose the clothes that like they can't wear certain things because like they can't wear like brands and stuff.
Copyrighted
they
stuff.
can't wear stuff
Yeah.
with brand names on it. They're advised of this in advance. So they can't wear white. They can't,
Right.
because of the cameras, they can't wear things with brands that are not sponsored. They can't wear Major League Baseball, NFL, stuff like that, but they can wear any college. Okay.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, just because they still don't need to dress like slobs every day. It's like, Jesus Christ, take a shower, get dressed, be a normal person, even though you're in the house. Because let me tell you, I'd be wearing stilettos, walking across those shoes, walking across those clothes on the floor, and leaving holes in every single one of them.
I'll tell you what, you see me on BB19 or 20, I'll be walking in the house with a shirt that says The Realist and a fedora.
I mean, seriously, I would walk in high heels across their clothes and put holes in them for leaving them on the ground. It's like, bitch, you've got a suitcase, you've got drawers, pick your shit up. That's the mother in me. That's why I'm old, and that's why I'm not on the show. I would go Remy on the. They would love me. They would. Shush up, Chris. They would. So,
I ain't doubting that.
huh?
I'm not saying I'm not doubting that.
So anyway, that's my thoughts on tonight. We'll see what happens. Thursday should be exciting, and hopefully they'll do a better
Yeah,
Wednesday.
can't go wrong with a double.
Hopefully they'll do a better Wednesday show than they did last night. That was like the worst show.
My final
They
thought
just
would
put
be
some
if
random shit in there.
my final thought would be if Victor wins, I don't know what to say about this season. I have no idea. If Victor somehow won this season, then that would be the biggest shit show in reality TV history.
He's a bro. He's going to get to the end. He's going to win at Final Three. If they think they're carrying his ass to Final Three with him, Paul, and Paulie, Victor's going to win.
Well, on that note, I'm going to salsa dance my way out of here. So, adios.
It's
All
also
right, guys. That ends the broadcast. Until next time, guys, we'll talk about more with Big Brother and everything else. So, later, guys.